Okay, so in the last video we learned that this is not a very financially attractive opportunity, and I said let's look for ways, let's explore ways to improve the profitability of this model. So that's what we're going to do in this video. And right now we basically break even. Our revenue equals our cost. And now we want to optimize. And if we can't optimize, then we need to pivot entirely. And this is kind of called value-based management in business. And it's where you take a look at each activity you're performing and look at the ratio of how much does it cost and how much does it make us. And you focus on activities that make you a lot of money and don't cost you a lot, and figure out how can you create greater volumes to that revenue stream. And for activities that cost you a lot but aren't making you a lot of money, either get rid of them or figure out how to get those costs down or those revenues up. So on the cost side of things, we know that the monetary input for this $125 to $200 is being driven by SEO work, because we're going to hire that out to someone in the East. And we know that the majority of the cost comes from these 24 to 32 hours I have to put into it, and that's basically content updating and maintaining affiliate relationships like Airbnbs and restaurants. And on the revenue side of things, it's not so clear. We don't have a super core revenue driving stream, but I do know the with locals model, the Mescal tours, and the e-commerce tours, or e-commerce store, they all have profit margins around the 20 to 50% mark, whereas affiliate marketing is more like 2 to 10%. So if we can find a way to reduce these activities and increase these activities, we might be in a more favorable position. So what are some of our options? Well, what if we just drop the Airbnb and restaurant side of this business? We have less SEO to focus on, we have less relationship management, or perhaps we don't drop them, but we drop the revenue side of it. We don't try to make money off them, but we still allow a few of them to be on our website. Maybe we can convince them to give us content for our website, since we're providing them a free service. Now the con to this is we're going to lose some of our revenue stream, roughly $100 to $250. The next idea I have is, what if I pivot just entirely to a with locals model? It's successful in Europe, it's successful in Southeast Asia, it's not here, people are trying to do it here. What if I just focus entirely on that? It's a much stronger revenue model because you are actually middlemaning the flow of money, and you're charging about 15 to 20%. The con is you still have a major SEO challenge, and there's still a lot of SEO work that goes into it. And if you're going to do all of that SEO work for various keyword phrases that relate to different activities, why not make yourself a one-stop shop and capitalize off of all that marketing energy or marketing efforts that you're making anyways? The next thing I could do is I could outsource some of my work to a key partner. I'm charging myself and the company $40 an hour. What if I outsource it to someone somewhere between $5 and $15 an hour? That cost is going to get cut in a third. The downside is you have less control, and the quality tends to be a little lower. Either you have to properly incentivize them, mean give them equity and performance related incentives, or you can expect that the quality is just not going to be the same. And then the fourth thing I could do is just drop my idea entirely and really pivot towards this Mescal space. Perhaps I could do a price comparison website right there. I know that the SEO is easy. I know a lot of people are looking for this service when they come to Oaxaca, and I know there's a lot of money involved in this activity, both on the sale of it as well as the tour side of it. So maybe it makes sense just to focus on a whole new business model revolved specifically around Mescal. The con to this is I lack knowledge and expertise, and I'm going to have to start all over. So, of these options, what if hypothetically I take the best of each option and try to minimize the downside of each option? So instead of dropping Airbnb and restaurant affiliates entirely, what if I just limit it to 3 Airbnbs and 3 restaurants? So I'm still a one-stop shop, but I don't have to manage 6 relationships of Airbnbs and 6 relationships. I just cut that work in half, both on the content updating and the relationship management. And what if instead of pivoting entirely to with locals, that I just add more focus to with locals and have more options and focus more on that revenue stream? And what if I outsource some of the work to my key partner and I pay him an hourly rate and give them a little bit of incentive so that they have some skin in the game? I can get a lot of the tasks off my plate at not a huge increase to my costs. And lastly, drop the idea, I don't want to do that, but this Mescal price comparison website is very interesting to me. Maybe I can have a spin-off, or maybe one of the pages of my website could be this PCW, or maybe somehow I can share the traffic between the 2 places. So this is something I can kind of build into the website or spin off. Now hypothetically, if I do all those things and I do them with really high quality execution, let's say I get my revenues to $1,000 because I lost a little bit of revenue from the Airbnbs and restaurants, but I also increased the with locals side of things. And I get my costs all the way down to $300. I basically completely remove myself and the restaurants and Airbnbs from the equation, and now I'm down to $300. I'm focusing on less SEO keyword phrases, I'm outsourcing some of the tasks that are left over, and I'm just completely eliminating all the relationship management. Now this is a $700 return each month. And that's not a ton of money. In Mexico, it can certainly pay for my living and my food every month. But in the US, this isn't going to necessarily repay my school loans or set up a retirement fund off of this. So now we need to decide, is $700 worth it? And that depends on how much effort I'm putting into the front end of this. Because these $700 are automated, so of course it's worth it. But depending on how much effort I need to put into setting this all up. So I estimated that it was gonna cost $13,500 to set up because of all the time I need to put into it. Well, now we're getting rid of some of the Airbnb and restaurant content, and also I'm outsourcing more and more content to my key partner. So without being biased or bullheaded or being overly optimistic, I think I can get this cost down to $9,000, especially if I get a decent website theme from the get-go. Now, that means at $700 a month, it would take 15 months to break even on my $9,000 investment. Okay, is this good or bad? The rule of thumb is 2-year break-even points. You always want to be before or earlier than a 2-year break-even. So at first I want to say, all right, I get a thumbs up, I'm moving forward. But keep in mind SEO takes time, so for the first maybe 6 months to a year, I'm hardly going to make any money until my website starts showing up on the first page of Google. So it's very unclear to me whether I pass this rule or not. So in the next video, I'm going to talk about whether I'm going to pursue this or not. From a financial standpoint, things are looking pretty shaky, and we're going to take a closer look at how we can pivot one last thing and what the professional and personal upside is to this business venture.